my body, I get really tense, almost to stop myself from sort of moving. And my mind, it almost starts to wander to sort of zone myself out, almost a sense of calming me down. Not sure that that really works, but I find my body just gets really, really tense and I don't really want to move. I don't want to speak because I don't want to snap at someone and make someone view me differently or cause a scene that doesn't need to happen. Like, I just don't want that to happen. Sort of like shutting myself down almost, so I don't have to hurt anyone.
So our brains and our bodies are super complicated and really quite fancy in terms of what they're able to do in certain situations. But when we get angry, basically your body's alarm system is being triggered. And so what's happening is your brain is constantly on the lookout for threat and making sure that you're safe. When we get angry, it's noticing that something's not right and that we're not safe. And so a little part of your brain called the amygdala, which is about the size of an almond, basically sends the alert, kicks off this alarm system in your whole brain and body. So in your body, what you'll notice is that your heart might be beating faster, you might be breathing faster, you might be really tense, in your body. It's not super relaxed. And that's because it's your fight, flight, freeze system. You're being put in a mode to fight, to get rid of this threat, to take an action to make it better. The same sort of action you'd be put in if it was you're actually going to have, I don't know, a physical fight with a tiger who was looking at you hungrily, right? So it's exactly the same system that's kicking off. And that helps you understand kind of why your body feels really weird when you feel really angry. And everyone's body does it differently. I will flush here in my neck, whereas other people might go white, other people might, almost feel their hackles rising. Sometimes people can feel it like goosebumps. It's different for everybody. But in terms of what's happening in your brain, that can kind of give us some clues about why we sometimes do dumb stuff when we're feeling really angry. The best way I can understand that is using the hand model of the brain, which is by an amazing academic called Dan Siegel. And basically what he talks about is if you think your brain is being a bit like this, with your wrist representing your spinal cord, so it comes up the back of your neck and it kind of enters the base of your skull. And in your brain, in the lower part of your brain, you've kind of got this emotional part of your brain, which is in charge of you feeling the way you do and kind of all the physiological stuff that goes with that. It's kind of your emotion center. In the middle of that, you've got your amygdala, which is your alarm system. And then at the higher parts of your brain, and particularly in here behind your forehead, you have the really fancy, problem-solving, wise part of your brain. That's kind of the part of our brain that looks different to other animals. They've all got the survival stuff. We've got the problem solving, how to be kind to people, how to manage when we're stressed, how to, calm ourselves down. All of our really higher order thinking happens from that front of our brain. So what happens when we're really angry or feeling any big emotion actually, whether it's anger or anything else, is that communication between that frontal part of your brain, which is used to calm yourself down when you're feeling angry and upset or any kind of emotion, it's like the communication gets disconnected. All the information happening in that emotional part of your brain is kind of getting all the airtime or all the bandwidth, and so that communication between the calm down part and the oh my gosh part isn't really working. So you can't use those skills to calm yourself down and make really good decisions when you're completely overwhelmed. And that might help you understand a little bit in terms of why we make dumb decisions when we're angry, why it is that, I don't know, if you're in class and the teacher asks you to do something, and you get really frustrated by that, why it is that you, got up, flipped your desk and took off over the back fence even though you're not supposed to. And later on when you're calm and that communication's kind of back online, you go, oh my gosh, why did I do that silly thing, But it's because you'd flipped your lid. That's what we call it when those two things get disconnected. And so it's useful to know about that because we can sort of take steps to try and make sure it doesn't happen quite so often or to repair when it does.